Good morning. Today is Halloween, October 31st. I want to welcome you to today's committee hearing. Mr. Labange is present with me today. We do have a quorum. Madam Clerk, I do not see any general public cards, so I'm going to open and close general public comment at this time. So we have two items. Could you read the items, please?
Yes, item number 1 is a communication from the City Attorney, resolutions and ordinance relative to submitting to the voters a proposed charter amendment to change the city's election dates to June and November of even-numbered years beginning in 2020 and calling a special election and consolidating it with the city's primary nominating election to be held on March 3rd, 2015.
Okay, now do we have any cards at all specifically on this subject?
There are no speaker cards.
Okay, can I have a representative from the City Attorney's Office just for a minute? Harit? Okay, so if you could just give me the 2-minute drill as to, first of all, I want to thank everybody for all their hard work. We've been working on this for over a year, and the City Attorney's Office has done a fine job. But walk Mr. Labange and I through this, please.
Absolutely. Harith Trivedi from the City Attorney's Office. Pursuant to your directions, you have before you today a pair of charter amendments that would be for the March 2015 ballot that would change city and LAUSD election dates to June and November of even-numbered years starting in 2020. We've also filed reports that detail the changes and proposed in the charter amendments. If approved by the voters, the charter amendments would change city elections and LAUSD elections to coincide with the federal and state election schedule of June and November of even-numbered years. The change would begin in 2020. To align terms of office with these new election dates, the charter amendments provide that candidates elected in the 2015 cycle would be elected for a term of office of approximately 5.5 years to serve until December 2020. And similarly, those candidates elected in 2017 would serve until December of 2022.
So that syncs up the election so that we are totally in sync with the state and federal.
That's correct. It's to align exactly and synchronize the terms of office with the new schedule. It's a one-time transitional term, and starting in 2020, then the even-number districts would again be elected for the standard 4-year term. And in 2022, the citywide and odd-numbered districts would be for the standard 4-year term.
And this doesn't affect citywide officials?
It changes election dates for citywide officials.
But it doesn't affect them as time served?
Not if they're current time served, no.
Even and odd.
Right.
And the odd-numbered districts will be not afforded 1.5 years extra time.
They would actually. In 2017, when the citywide and odd-numbered districts are up for election, they would run for a 5.5-year term to synchronize their schedule with the 2022 cycle.
Got it. Will the mayor's term be a 5.5-year term?
If the voters elect, whoever the voters elect in 2017 for mayor, city attorney, and controller, that would also be for 5.5 years, so that just as is now, those offices are together with the odd-numbered council districts in 2020.
So both cycles will have to
right.
work out. Right.
That's right. And that's
one-time change for them as well.
That's right. It's a one-time for all offices in order to synchronize with the new dates.
Okay, what about the school board?
Same for the school board. We, under our charter and state law, conduct the school board elections together with city elections. So this would also, for the odd-numbered school districts that are up in this 2015 cycle, would be for a 5.5-year term expiring in December of 2020 and then synchronized with the new dates. And the same thing for the 2017 Board of Education offices. So that starting 2020, we would have our elections in June and November, even-numbered years, every 2 years going forward. The measure also makes some other adjustments to the vacancy, initiative, referendum, recall schedules to conform to these new election dates. And it also in terms of vacancy elections, allows for temporary appointments to fill vacant offices pending an election, something that's been a concern.
Well, something that was just a big concern were related to the LAUSD District 1 school board race.
It was a very big concern, and currently the charter prohibits a temporary appointment pending a vacancy election. Under this, considering elections will be less frequent, it allows for temporary appointments to fill the office until a vacancy election is conducted. It also adjusts...
And on that temporary election, will that person be able to run for office, or will they...
There'd be no prohibition on
No
that
prohibition.
appointee running for that office, no, not in this charter amendment. It also, this measure, just to round out the final points, would allow initiative and referendum elections to be scheduled either at the next city or next state election. In 2020, the city and state elections will be merged as one, so that's going forward. And there are also some minor adjustments to when the terms of office have to begin, because elections will be in November, so terms of office for council members and citywide officials would begin in December, the second Monday of December.
Similar to in our state and federal and...
Very slimmer, slightly different in that the state legislators take office the first Monday of December. Here, the date selected was the second Monday of December because there's an extra step of declaring the results that the council would need to have. Finally, I want to note that there are two measures, the city measure and the LAUSD measure. Voters of both jurisdictions would have to approve their measure for either of them to take effect because they are contingent on each other. Couldn't change one without changing the other.
Okay.
So that's what you have before you today. There are ballot resolutions and election ordinances, as I said before, for this measure, both these measures to appear on the March 2015 ballot.
Okay, thank you. So again, there's no public hearing on this. I mean, there's no cards on this item, so we'll end the public hearing. And if there's no more questions, Mr. Labange, what I'd like to do is, without objection on items 1 and 2, we will adopt the city attorney's report, resolutions, and draft ordinances.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, and Mr. Weezer, so it's a unanimous vote of this committee. Madam Clerk, is there any more business before this committee?
That completes all the business this morning.
Again, thank everyone. This committee's adjourned.
Thank you very much.